Hey, everybody, welcome back to Connect. I'm your host, Andy Hale. I want to talk about a couple things today. Let's start with this. I've spent the last couple episodes talking about Jessica Snyder, this spiritual medium, talking about my spirit guide, how I started this podcast because of what my spirit guide channeled. I'm leaning into it. I'm following that advice. That's why we are here. So I want to talk a little bit more about leading, your most aligned life, being the path that you kind of makes you feel the best, the path that was designed for you. So I'm going to call this episode Take the First Step. I think there's a lot of people out there, probably everybody, who's got something on their mind that they've been wanting to do, but they just haven't done it. They're kind of stuck. It could be a person. Maybe you want to connect with somebody and you keep saying, oh, I've got to call, Aunt so-and-so, or I got to stop by and see Uncle so-and-so. And you just haven't done it, but you keep saying it. Maybe it's somebody you want to meet face-to-face for some reason, somebody you haven't seen in a long time, a friend, a college roommate, a relative. It could be relating to your job. Maybe you've been, kind of unhappy in what you're currently doing. And you keep saying to yourself, oh, I got to get my resume together, or maybe it's applying for that job that you've been thinking about applying for, but you just haven't done it, responding to a job interview post. Maybe it's something in terms of where you live. You've been thinking about moving apartments and, you've just been talking for months about going to look at new places and you haven't done it. It could be relationships. Maybe you've wanted to ask somebody out or you wanted to, try to explore a relationship with somebody new, but you just haven't had kind of the extra push you need to do it. It could be travel. Maybe you've been talking about a vacation, needing a break, wanting to just take 2 weeks off and travel the country in an RV. Whatever that is, what I want to tell you this week is my message. Take the first step. So I want anybody listening to make a decision this week and to do it. Take that first step. Take that first step, whatever it is that you've been thinking about doing, of all those different categories I gave you. And it can be anything. Maybe you want to learn how to cook. So go out and buy that cookbook. But I think oftentimes we just get kind of stuck. We get caught up in the day-to-day. We go to our job, we work all day, we get home, we're tired, we turn on the TV, we get something to eat, we go to bed, rinse and repeat. And you know what? A year goes by, 2 years goes by, 3 years goes by. I mean, I've seen this happen. You've got to hit the pause button. I'm constantly using that word when I talk to people. Let's pause. I always say, let's pause. You got to slow down and take a break. So what is it right now? What is it right now that you really wanted to do? This is something inside of you. And this is why I tie it back to your path, your purpose, being aligned. What is it that has really been on your mind that you've wanted to do? It's on your mind because you got that as a download. The universe was sending you that information, giving you that nudge, your spirit guide telling you, hey, you've been talking about traveling, okay, let's do it. So this episode, I want this to be kind of the little push you need, the little nudge you need to finally do it. Some of these things are small, obviously, right? Oh, I want to learn how to cook. Okay, buying the cookbook, that's not a huge thing. Some are a little heavier, if you're talking about switching jobs, if you're talking about moving or relationships, those take a little more oomph, But whatever it is, it's all important. And if you've been thinking about it and it's been on your mind, it's time to do it. It's time to take the first step. I'm going to do it this week too. I'm going to think of something that fits into those categories for me, and I'm going to do it as well. So your homework assignment this week, figure out that one thing that you've been thinking about, that you've wanted to do, that you just haven't done, and do it. Either do it this week if you can do it this week, or start planning if it takes a little more planning to do it. If it's more of a long-term thing, start taking the first tangible steps to do it. Take the first step. Okay, that's part one. Part two, I just had this idea literally 5 minutes ago. I don't know what made me think of it. It's an example where something pops into your brain, you get an idea. And I was thinking about the postcard project, which I still love postcards and a great way to connect with people. But I was trying to think of something where you could kind of send it around the world and it comes back to you. And this is my idea. This is what I'm going to do. And I think it'd be kind of fun. I've got a piece of paper in front of me, thin lined like yellow paper. I probably got about 75 lines on here that go front and back. Line one, I'm going to write my name, Andy Hale, and I'm going to write my favorite restaurant in Chicago, Girl and the Goat. That's my favorite restaurant. And at the top of this page, I'm going to call it my favorite restaurant. Now, it's a combination of a way to connect with people. I'm going to send this to one of my friends out of state. I'm going to ask that person in line number 2 to put their city and favorite restaurant. So wherever they live, Orlando, New York, Los Angeles, put your name, put your favorite restaurant, and now you mail it to one of your friends or relatives in another state. And they get it, and then they put in line number 3 their name, their city, their favorite restaurant, and we pass it on, we pass it on, we pass it on until it gets to the end, to number 75. And when that person gets it, I'm asking them to mail it back to me. And then I think it'd be incredibly magical. I'm going to get this piece of paper back. Hopefully this will work. I don't know how long it'll take. And I'll have 75 different names on here, 75 different cities, and 75 different favorite restaurants. How cool is that? Now, the hard part is one person can break the chain, obviously, right? One person could just break the chain. So I'm going to encourage people when I send this to my first friend, pick somebody you can trust and tell them, you got to do this. But I think not only will it be a fun way, for me to kind of see where this goes, but I'm now going to have 75 people who are all going to be forced to reach out to one of their friends in another state. It's probably somebody they haven't talked to in a while. And it's going to be a great way for them to reach out. So what I'm going to do by this is I'm going to create 75 people making connections. And it's going to be a fun way to just to do those connections with people and to also get this information about the favorite restaurants. And then I'll post it and I'll share it. I think it would be amazing. So if this sounds interesting and fun to you, I encourage you to try it and do it. And if you do, let me know how it goes. You don't have to do 75 people. You can do 10. You can do whatever you want. I just chose 75 because I've got this piece of lined paper in front of me. And I thought, hey, let's fill it up. So that's part 2, the my favorite restaurant list around the country. And I can't wait to see how long it takes and how it comes back. And the first part, take the first step. So that's this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It's another episode of Connect. I'm your host, Andy Hale. This episode was produced by Phineas Ellis and Studio Friends. Design and promotion by Bell and Ivy. I can't wait to come back next week and continue our conversation. Talk soon.